First, by telling the truth, by facing facts. I recently read somewhere people talked about exchange of notes between the British High Commissioner, they call him Ambassador, and Ayah.
My country people them. Today, na number 28 day for March 2024. And I want to respond to Justice Ayah Paul Abine outing on Equinox TV on the 17th of March 2024. When I listen.
Barrister Ayah Paul Abine, how can the sick nationhood of Cameroon today be healed? How can the bonds be brought together, be strengthened?
First, by telling the truth, by facing facts. I recently read somewhere people talked about exchange of notes between the British High Commissioner, they call him Ambassador, and Ayah. And tell the truth. Let us face facts. The famous United Nations Resolution 15, 1606, parenthesis 15, of 21st April 1961, called on three governments, the UK, the Republic of Cameroon, and Southern Cameroons. Southern Cameroons are the government at that time, to come together and finalize the joining. That's the word they used, I think in capital letters, to finalize.
So the first thing first, Justice Ayah Paul talks say we need to be honest, truthful, and we need to face the facts. We need to tell the truth. So we could tell the truth. He quote Resolution 1608 as usual. Yes, but wait away, I don't do one before and say I don't read the whole text of Resolution 1608 for una. Wait away Anglophones them, and I wait this way when they talk about the conny where it flow for Anglophone and the belly, they do always ignore paragraph 4. They can't cling on paragraph 5. Because if we now look at paragraph 4 for Resolution 1608, it tells us about the decision where the United Nations will be taken, how the trusteeship agreement it will be terminated. So, if you want to talk about paragraph 5, you get to read the exact text as it was written by the United Nations. Paragraph 4 of Resolution 1608. That is the important part, because that is where the United Nations General Assembly decides. That's where they make a decision. Everything else where they don't talk before this point, now wait where they call and say the preamble. Okay, but for paragraph 4, that's when the United Nations General Assembly decides that the plebiscite having been taken separately with differing results, the trusteeship agreement of 13 December 1946 concerning the Cameroons under the United Kingdom administration shall be terminated in accordance with Article 76B of the United Nations Charter. The decision, it talks say, that agreement will be terminated in the following manner. 4B, it talks say, with respect to the Southern Cameroons, on the 1st of October 1961, upon joining the Republic of Cameroon, on the 1st of October 1961, the trusteeship agreement of 13 December 1946 concerning the Cameroons under UK administration shall be terminated. That is the important part of Resolution 1608. Now, the very last paragraph, paragraph 5, where Barrister Fru Johnson and Barrister Mbesa, they keep talking about. Listen, it's an invitation. It is not a decision, it is not a resolution. They don't resolve anything and they don't decide anything. They are inviting. It's an invitation. When they invite you for something, you get the option for go or not for go.
Lesson number one. Lesson number one. This video where country people do am. Now God sending me do the video. When I always see that, I say, oh, I want to, oh, country people.
So, paragraph 5 say the United Nations General Assembly invites the administering authority, where in this case now the UK, and the government of Southern Cameroon and the Republic of Cameroon to initiate urgent, remember, urgent discussions. Urgent. Why they talk urgent? Because they don't put the date. 1st of October 1961. Remember, say they sit on the 21st of April 1961. From the 21st of April 1961 to the 1st of October 1961. How many months do we have?
You listen to the video. This video, it tells a lot of things.
Now, why that way the United Nations General Assembly, it tells them, say, you need to initiate urgent discussions with a view to finalize before the 1st of October the arrangements by which the agreed and declared policies of the parties concerned will be implemented. So, if we not choose for go get the urgent discussions, that one on a problem. If we not choose not forget the urgent discussions, that one on a problem. But remember that they don't tell us, say by the 1st of October 1961, the trusteeship agreement will be terminated upon the Southern Cameroons joining the Republic of Cameroon. So it is in your best interest for the administering authority, the government of the Southern Cameroons and the Republic of Cameroon, French Cameroon, for initiate urgent discussion. They write down for the urgent. For tell you, say they be pressed with time. And now why that way they get the Fumban Constitutional Conference, they get another conference for Yaoundé, they get another conference for Bamenda, they get all of these meetings them with the British president, with the people them Django Foncha and President Amadou Ahidjo president and all of those people them, in order for finalize or get any declared policies and agreements how the union it will work. And at the end of those discussions, they become up with the Fumban Constitutional Conference, where it produced the federal constitution. That is what they agreed on. John Go Foncha, he agree. If John Go Foncha no be agree for the federal constitution, why he be accept the terms of that Fumban Constitutional Conference and the Fumban and the federal constitution? Because at the end of the day, come the 1st of October 1961, John Go Foncha be take his position as the vice president of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. John Go Foncha be represent the British Southern Cameroons, their people, with the British as the people, the way they hold the sovereignty of the territory. So whatever the British they decide, the British they get the powers for enter into international negotiation and international treaties on behalf of the former Southern Cameroons, because now them be own the sovereign right over that territory. John Go Foncha be tasked, he be get the task, the responsibility for negotiate how the union it could be on behalf of the people then for the British Southern Cameroons. And John Go Foncha he go negotiate the position as the vice president. He negotiate two positions for himself. He be been at the vice president of the Federal Republic of Cameroon, and he be still hang on to his position as the prime minister of West Cameroon.
Lesson number one, my country people talks about it. Listen, whether or not you accept, my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. He's an enemy that is strong.
Remember, which way Justice Ayah Paul talk a bit different from which way the United Nations write them. Justice Ayah Paul the talks today so say finalizing the joining. There is no such thing in Resolution 1608. They say finalizing before the 1st of October 1961 the arrangements. They are finalizing arrangements. The question of joining is already decided. The former British Southern Cameroons will join the Republic of Cameroon on the 1st of October 1961. That is a decision. That is final. So now, paragraph 5, they just inviting these three parties them for can she don't arrange and agree policies on how the joining will happen. But the decision on the joining is concluded. However, when I go join now, it be dependent upon Wuna. When I go down now, and they talk say urgent discussions because this resolution be passed on the 21st of April 1961, and they don't already give a date which way the former British Southern Cameroons go join the Republic of Cameroon 1st of October. So now they get only a few short months for go finalize the arrangements. They are not finalizing the joining. They are finalizing the arrangements. Okay, the Fumban Constitutional Conference and the Federal Constitution was that finalizing of the arrangements and policies of joining. But the question of the joining was finalized in the decision in paragraph 4, where the United Nations talks say they respect the plebiscite result, and before the 1st of October 1961, when I go down, when I decide how when I go do the arrangements them for the joining for the policies them, but the decision of the joining is final. By the 1st of October 1961, when I go join, and the trusteeship agreement it could be terminated.
We thank my country people for this wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.
The day we admit that the decolonization of southern Cameroon ended inconclusively will be the beginning of the resolution of the present situation. Without that, we are just beating about the bush.
So wait where Justice Ayah Paul Abine talk a bit disingenuous. In the first place, it talks that we need for be factual and truthful, and then it go on for deliberately mislead people them. So the question of whether we joined French Cameroon or not has been settled. End of discussion. The sovereignty of that territory was handed over to President Amadou Ahidjo through the exchange of notes, and that is the instrument by which the trusteeship agreement was terminated. Whether you like it or not, at the end of the day, now the United Nations write this document. At the end of the day, now the same United Nations, they recognize the territorial integrity of Cameroon, recognize the sovereignty of Cameroon, where it include the former British Southern Cameroons. Now, the same United Nations, it accept, say, the sovereignty of that former British Southern Cameroons, it be held by Yaoundé. Now, why that way? I don't show an example where it be adjudicated in the highest international court, the International Court of Justice, and they come to a decision, a ruling, and a conclusion. Said the sovereignty of that territory be held in Yaoundé. So how do you then go and argue that you were never a part of that territory or no, you don't ever join? You make a fool of yourself. Now, make una also understand say this so. Law it be subject to interpretation. So you get two lawyers them or three or four lawyers, they feel read the same law, they interpret them in two or three different ways. Make I give an example with Bakassi Peninsula. Cameroon government under President Paul Biya, if it take Nigerian government, it go sue them at the International Court of Justice for settle the case for Bakassi Peninsula, for decide who own sovereignty over that peninsula. Now, Cameroon government present the evidence, the German-British agreement of 1913. Now, the Nigerian lawyers, they argue based on that same document, that agreement between Britain and Germany, they argue, say that document, it indicates, say the sovereignty of that territory belongs to Nigeria. That their own interpretation. The Cameroonian lawyers for our own side will look at exactly the same document and give our own interpretation, and at the conclusion say the sovereignty for Bakassi belongs with Cameroon. Now, after the two sides, they don't present their cases and their arguments, it be now up to the judges for the International Court of Justice for them take our interpretation, take Nigeria their own interpretation, and then themselves they sit, they look at the law, they look at the agreement, and then they come up with their own interpretation. And in the end, they come up with the conclusion, say they so, sovereignty for Bakassi lies with Cameroon. So make una understand say even thing where they write them down, it be subject to interpretation. So this could even be Justice Ayah Paul ye own interpretation. It doesn't make it factual. Wait way it be standard, where it be written, and where it be accepted by every member state of the United Nations, by the United Nations itself, by every other country where it be concerned, like Nigeria, it be accepted. Say it is so. That territory it never ever exercised that territory it never ever exercised sovereignty, and the former British Southern Cameroons it don't be integrated into Cameroon, and the United Nations it accept that, it recognize that, and now why that way they be come up with that judgment for Bakassi Peninsula. Now why that way now President Paul Biya it be signed for the Green Tree Agreement with President Olusegun Obasanjo. If una dey ask for union treaty, ask yourself, was there a union treaty between the former northern Cameroons and Nigeria? And then you go see I'm say it is so we the Anglophones then will be disingenuous. We know they talk the truth. We are belly overflow with Connie. And now because of all of these lies, misinterpretation, fake news, propaganda, and misinformation, where a radicalized Anglophone youth is sent them for bush, they go carry check out from crocodile guns for nothing. Everything will be done, it will be done legally. It continue. Una listen.
Every day somebody says, we're returning to normal, situation returning to normalcy, and the next day, people are killed. Let us begin there and forge ahead.
Okay, my country people, they make us start with the last thing where Justice Ayah Paul talk. It talks say every day people they talk say peace is returning back to the Anglophone zone, and then the next day people are killed. Yes, those two things can happen simultaneously. Peace and tranquility can be returning and people still die at the same time. Those two things they not be mutually exclusive. Make I explain that for una. The question we get to ask people then like this now say, one, who is being killed and who is killing them? Because in every society, people the day where they're supposed to die for prison because they don't deserve the same liberties the way we get them. In every country for this world, or some countries them, they get laws where they talk say they will sentence you to death. So the question is, was the killing legal? Was the killing justified? Is the killing the kind of killing that we want to see? If the killing was not justified, then you also get to ask yourself, so now who did do the killing? Because as I talk to una today, when I know I don't publish, I'm say Akko Giant, the Amber terrorists for Acquire, it be captured by the same Manu civilians them. They hand them over to the military. And also for Acquire, they kumkumais about 10 Amber terrorists, they captured 12. All of these things, and for me, they've kumkumais Akko Giant as well, and all of them. I want those kind of people then for be kumkumais. Yes, I advocate for the kumkumization of all the Amber terrorists where they carry guns in our communities. They are posing a grave danger, an existential threat and danger to our people, kidnapping for ransoms, rapes, and all of those kind of things. Those kind of people, they don't deserve for gain liberty. They don't even deserve for stay alive. So we advocate for those kind of ones and for being kumkumized. Just today, as I talk for my own native Momo, where I come out, when I see this funeral where they take place for this video, that one are Amber versus Amber. Amber killing Amber. So you could talk, say, oh, people say normalcy is returning, but people are still dying. Like I ask, the question is, who is killing who? So when Amber terrorists, they go catch other Amber terrorists, kill them, it's good. We are supposed to celebrate and encourage that to happen. It is called poetic justice.
Kemende Henry.
Yes. Now we kill Kemende Henry. When they be killing the motorway, if they inside the boy then take him. Listen for me now. When they be killing the boy, the way they kill him and carry the motor go to the camp. La Republic later on attack that camp, recover that motor. All man know say na Ambazonian fighter then kill him. No be news. Unless na person wey he play for himself. International community where they get people for ground they know. People for ground zero they know. Now who way you hide and say no we kill him?
Like for example, even Capo Daniel don't tell una. Senator Kemende Henry for Bamenda. Now who kill he? Now the Ambazonian terrorists. That way they kill he, all we will sympathize. And then later on you can't find out say, if they work, they collaborate with the Amber terrorists. Now I feel good because now poetic justice. So if some person go find his own die, you feed the monster. That way the monster don't be big enough for devour and take away your life. Then that is justice. Now you create that justice for yourself. So what do you want me to say about it? So yes, even a broken clock, it will tell the right time twice in a day. It don't mean say that clock should be used to launch a missile to space because they don't tell the right time once or twice in a day. No, a broken clock is still broken. And Barcelona terrorism has been defeated, and all they can do now is lash out, kidnapping for ransoms, the terrorist and criminal activity where they go on, and don't negate the fact say they so. Peace and normalcy is returning to the Anglophone zone. The other question we get to ask this kind of people that say, looking at 2018 and comparing it with 2024, are we experiencing more people that die or now fewer people that die? Because that is how you judge progress. Okay, not just for talk say, okay, person don't die. So what? If to say for 2018 they will kill like 10 people there for Bamenda every single day, but now for 2024 they kill now like 5 or 6 people them every single month, that is a massive progress. It means that so that time they will kill like 300 people there for Bamenda in a month, but now they kill like 5 or 6 in a month. That is progress. That is normalcy returning. We not talk say normalcy don't already return. We say it is returning because it is a progress. It is a process. It happens gradually and steadily. Things that improve every single day. That's what we're saying. As we compromise the terrorists, them now so too we experience peace and normalcy and tranquility. So yes, peace and normalcy is returning, and yes, people are still being killed. But the question is, who is killing who? And are we killing the right people? If we are killing the right people, then fantastic. That is still part of the peace and normalcy returning.
When I was in politics, I said, faced with the present situation, let us come together, come up with a constitution that will be adopted by the two sides, and we rule the country in a 10-state federation. That document between the two parties, even in the absence of the United Kingdom, would be a document that will evidence the joining. As of now, let the President of the Republic or whosoever else refer us to any document saying that there was joining. The UN resolution never mentioned the British High Commissioner, called him ambassador. It named 3 entities: the Republic of Cameroon, the United Kingdom, and the government of Southern Cameroons. Even in the absence of Britain, we can, as black people, Bantus, agree to be together on terms. State down the terms. If we don't agree, there's nothing wrong in being side by side as 2 contiguous countries.
Southern Cameroonians were asked if they want to become independent by joining La République du Cameroun at the time, or by joining the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the plebiscite.
You see, that's the international fraud in the whole thing. How can we become independent by joining? That you become independent by leaning on somebody else. That's where the whole thing, where the whole fraud began. But to answer your question, the plebiscite was a declaration of intent. We want to join, to achieve independence by joining. Declaration of intent. And the United Nations itself came out with a resolution, 1608, bracket 15, of April 21, 1961, saying that these 3 entities I've named a number of times here, the United Kingdom, the Republic of Cameroon, and the government of Southern Cameroons, should come together and finalize. I've told you that word to the best of my memory. It's written in capital letters, to finalize. So long as that was not done, there's nothing final. There was nothing final about the joining or independence or whatever. I'm not saying it, I'm saying that's what the United Nations said should be done. And if anybody under the sun can show us today that is the document that the 3 entities met and agreed, these are the terms, if they bring us that document, all the killing today, everybody will tell those who are fighting that, look at, this is what was done by your forefathers, by your parents. What are you fighting for? everybody will tell them, no, you are wrong.
So you see, when Anglophones they talk, say the joining was inconclusive. Okay, fantastic. You believe that. That is like your opinion. But at the end of the day, the former British Southern Cameroons joined La République du Cameroun as far as the United Nations is concerned. They joined. So we get to now start from a legal framework of accepting the truth that we joined. And then now, if we want for talk, say, okay, we not be happy in the union, then that is a whole different argument. But we first of all get to start at the baseline understanding with the truth. We get to reckon with the reality and activity. We joined. We joined French Cameroon for form one territory. One. You get to understand that there is no two ways about it. The United Nations don't decide them with the Bakassi Peninsula case and other cases them. Now, why that way when I don't go for African nations, when I don't go for the United Nations, the EU, when I turn from Nijon Frundi to Pamolali Tumbe to even the Ayabacho them, Tapang Ivo, Kapo, that all when I don't make all that noise come back for square one, can't she don't begin look at each other? The reality is that that territory is one. You get to understand that that is the baseline. The joining happened, whether you like it or not. The trusteeship agreement was terminated, whether you like it or not. It happened. If you want to talk now, say, our forefathers were incompetent, the joining did not happen the way we envisaged, that is a whole different ball game. Can you go back and change it? The answer is absolutely not. It is not possible. There is no legal framework for you to be able to do that. When I carry chaka from Kradai guns, when I kiki, when I serve suit till thy kingdom come, it no go change the fact. Say we joined. And that territory now, it be recognized. No, not only me at the talk. For the Green Tree Agreement, where President Paul Biya signed with President Olusegun Obasanjo of Nigeria, when I know who will witness that signature, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, at that time, he was one of the most powerful people in the world. Now, Ghanaian man, come Ghana. President Olusegun Obasanjo, Nigeria. President Paul Biya, Cameroon. Literally three of the most powerful human beings on the African continent. Okay? Now, who also witnessed that signature? France, permanent member of the Security Council. Britain, permanent member of the Security Council. United States of America, permanent member of the Security Council. And Germany. Now the four witnesses, then that way they witness the signature for the Green Tree Agreement. When the United Nations it confirm them in writing on paper in an international agreement between Cameroon and Nigeria, and the boundary right from Lake Chad all the way down to the Atlantic Ocean, it don't already be demarcated and be delimited. It is signed, sealed. Foundation stones they don't be laid by the United Nations. Said that is a part of Cameroon, ye territorial sovereign territory. So what are you going to do about it? Anything else where you start from, you get to start at that foundation, whether you like it or not. I mean, I'm here to talk now. Now, United Nations, it talk. You get to start at that, accepting the truth and the reality. We joined. And today we are one territory. Whether you know like him or you like him, that is the fact that you have to reckon with. If you want for them separate the territory, now you talk say, you be secessionist, you be separatist. But for talk say, you be restoring what? You make a fool of yourself. For talk say, when I know we don't ever join, that is absolute stupidity. Then you get to answer the question, how was the trusteeship agreement terminated? Or do you claim to say there was the trusteeship agreement has never been terminated? Is that your policy point or your position that you want to adopt? Good luck with that. We'll see who will ever entertain your argument or listen to you or pay attention. Because all where they go do now, say they go pay you lip service. As you talk, they go, you they complain, they go, so you turn blue in the face. All where they go to talk now, say, oh wow, they did that. You don't say, oh wow, that is too bad. Oh no, we have to do something about that. Honestly, we have to do something about that. Oh no, oh do you? Yeah, really? They did that. Oh wow. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Now, wait that way white man could do one for you. It is called paying you lip service. it go just tell you what way believe say you want for here, and the minute where you come out for your office, it go throw away whatever you be bring them inside bin, and it go mind your business because you are making a fool of yourself. Whatever you are saying is not based on legal grounds. No other person no fit ever defend that position in court. Because this particular case, as I tell you now, it don't be adjudicated at the United Nations itself, Bakassi Peninsula. And during the Bakassi case, the SCNC, they be petition, they be right, say they so no that territory belong to Southern Cameroon, say no belong to Cameroon or whatever nonsense they be right them. The first question they ask them say, una they right as who? Are you a member of this club? Are you a member of the United Nations? Who are you writing as? You the right representing who? We not understand what our position. Now say we belong to one Cameroon. That is how the United Nations sees it. No matter how me I see it. That's how the African Union sees it. We belong inside one Cameroon. And then from that baseline, if we want to argue anything else, we have to continue to argue. That one continue concern now. But as long as we continue for the lie about whether Cameroon and the former British Southern Cameroon be joined or not be joined, we go remain for the get that argument, just like how we be the get that argument since 1984, talking to yourselves. And whenever we go to the international community, people they only be interested at paying you lip service. They will continue for the pay you lip service until thy kingdom come. No one will ever do anything. And now why that way Tibonagi be tell una this? When I listen.
President Sako has suggested is for a negotiated settlement without preconditions. Is it so difficult, for instance, for the actors in the world to oblige La République du Cameroon? Is it too difficult to oblige La République du Cameroon to meet Ambazonia on the table and let discussions begin?
It will never happen.
Why?
If that's what we're counting on, then you will be having the same discussion in 20 years, not with me because I may be gone by then, but with somebody else. Exactly the same point. There is no country in the world that is going to say to the Republic of Cameroon, you sit down with the people of Southern Cameroons and decide on how you're going to divorce.
Okay, the word divorce there is probably an overstatement because in the United States of America, a marriage is confirmed and sealed when there is a marriage certificate. Do you think, in fact, there is no treaty of union that binds the former British Southern Cameroons today, Ambazonia, and La République du Cameroon. That is an open secret. So why do the world and the United Nations and all the authorities that seek to talk about different things, why would they despise this act of illegality and a belligerent occupation from an occupier like French Cameroon?
Because the world doesn't care.
Then for Southern Cameroonians to say this is an international conspiracy.
The world doesn't care. That's why I told you early on, I look at the world the way it is. I don't look at it through rose-colored glasses. And what I think about and what I care about is how do we achieve what we want to achieve in today's world. That's why I sometimes shake my head at, these wonderful, actually judicial, legal, philosophically correct arguments that are not going to achieve anything.
Okay, Mr. Nach, I'm going to ask you the last question and probably open the line so we can take some calls and reactions from the public. We have seen an exceptional, passionate wave of support and help towards Ukraine since Russian supposed invasion. It's a legal practice within the United States of America to make donations to send weapons. How will it look like if we wake up, or how would Ukrainians look at it if they wake up one morning and somebody is telling the Ukrainian public to sit themselves down and to seek for their independence or their freedom from Russian aggression and invasion via a referendum. How will that sound?
Well, you can't compare the two situations. Ukrainian army is on the ground battling the Russians and pushing them back. And you started with two sovereign countries, both of which were recognized as members of the United Nations, and both signed on to the United Nations Charter. And you had one country physically invade another country. So, you can try and fit that into the Ambazonia Republic of Cameroon situation. But again, you can make any arguments you want and you can win the debate, but the world is not going to see it that way. I go back to the question. The most important thing is to achieve justice and dignity and the full rights of citizenship for Southern Cameroonians. It's not to win points in a scholastic or academic or philosophical debate. The Somalilanders feel exactly the same way you do. They make exactly the same points you do. The big difference between Somaliland and Ambazonia is Somaliland has been running its own country for 20 years. They have a standing army. They have a navy. They have a banking system. They have currency. But still, the world does not give them de jure recognition.
And I believe they actually fought to get that.
They did, and they won.
Tibonaki, you don't summarize them. No nation in the world is going to say to Cameroon government, and then it laugh because it's laughable. You're making fools of yourself. It laugh before you continue that statement. Say it's going to say to Cameroon government, say, come and sit with the people of Southern Cameroon and discuss how you are going to divorce. And the follow-up question was even funnier because they like say wait people not get it talk. These Anglophones don't even listen. When are they in a cult? When I need to ever hear where they tell una. It talk say no country no go talk for Cameroon government. Say me they can't sit down with una for discuss how una go divorce. And then your next follow-up question I for tell them say no, we don't ever marry, so we no fit divorce. Hang on a minute. So he wasted his time telling you. As far as the international community is concerned, whether you like it or not, whether you talk until you get blue in the face, everyone accept. Say the union happened. I don't know how to explain it for una again. The United Nations, now them be write the trusteeship agreement and they don't terminate them. And how they terminate them? Exchange of notes. Simple. How the United Nations recognize that territory belongs to Cameroon. They demonstrate them through the Bakassi Peninsula, the Green Tree Agreement. They judge the case and they come to the conclusion, say, President Pobia, take your Bakassi, begin go. Bakassi be being a part of the former British Southern Cameroons. If President Pobia no hold the sovereignty of that territory, how the United Nations be signed that agreement then? How the United Nations go sign agreement for give sovereignty for a territory where it no be controlled or held by the powers that be in Yaoundé? Answer yourself those questions. So the United Nations don't demarcate the border. It don't decide on this argument. There is no argument. We joined. End of discussion. Everything we want to talk from there, anything we want to talk from there. Now either we are making a fool of ourselves or we accept the reality that we joined.
Kunkumaster the kind of way it work with the Cameroon government. It don't confirm for this video.
Even quacks at law know that there is no international come together that is oral, that ends up in oral resolution, in oral whatever. Everything is documentary. The day Cameroonese and Cameroonians admit that the joining was inconclusive is the beginning of the resolution of the problem we have today.
Yes, even quacks at law recognize there is no international come together that is oral. You can say that all you want. I don't present to Una the actual documented evidence how the trusteeship agreement was terminated by exchange of notes by the British ambassador in Yaoundé and President Amadou Ahidjo. Yes, it is documented. They sign them in paper. And those documents, the exchange of notes, were filed at the United Nations Secretariat in 1962. So the nominal oral arrangement. Remember another thing, Nasewiti. Some people they don't ask this question, say, oh, the resolution 1608, it talks, say, it invites the administering authority, the government of Southern Cameroon and La République du Cameroun, okay, those three entities. Ask yourself, say, why did they invite the administering authority in the first place? The Republic of Cameroon, we don't gain independence on the 1st of January 1960. So now a sovereign state, like how Ayah Paul Abine talk, international agreements can only be between sovereign nations. Remember, that territory was not called the former Southern Cameroons. It was the former British Southern Cameroons. The British must be added to make sense because it was a colonized territory. Okay? So the British, they enter into international agreement on behalf of the former British Southern Cameroons. And that agreement was signed in Yaoundé on the 27th of September 1961 through an exchange of notes from the British government to the Cameroon government, President Amadou Ahidjo. That is how the trusteeship agreement was terminated. Okay, now, if you no accept that premise, then you must explain for we how was the trusteeship agreement terminated? Simple question. How was it terminated? Or are you trying to tell us that the trusteeship agreement still stands? Because according to resolution 1608, the trusteeship agreement was terminated on the 1st of October 1961. As a matter of fact, the trusteeship council that was in charge of overseeing all the 11 trusteeships or the trusteeship agreements, the trusteeship council itself was abolished by the United Nations in 1994 after all the 11 trust territories had already gained self-governance or independence. So how can you tell me that the trusteeship agreement still stands if even the trusteeship council does not exist? So the trusteeship agreement was terminated. How was it terminated? That is the question. Go and answer it. How was the trusteeship agreement between the former British Southern Cameroon or between the United Nations and the United Kingdom? How was that trusteeship agreement terminated between the United Kingdom and the United Nations for the administration of the British Cameroons? How was that trusteeship agreement terminated? By the exchange of notes, which is an international agreement according to international law. And for Justice Ayah Paul Abine for start this interview by mentioning the exchange of notes, now for tell Una the fantastic job when me I don't do them. Because all along this discussion for about Cameroon and the former British Cameroon and the so-called Union Treaty, now only me, when I countryman, I don't go do research. It take me only 1 hour for go dig up that exchange of notes. I never ever see no Cameroonian historian bring them up. I never ever hear no other person bring that document to the limelight until me I go dig them up. It took me less than 1 hour of Googling for Google for go get that document can show una. It don't shock all of these fools the way they work and talk about Union Treaty. Justice Ayah Paul may be just wrong or it be manipulative and dishonest. It's either one or the other, because the truth it remains that the trusteeship agreement was terminated, and it was terminated through the exchange of notes between the British government. As I explained, the ambassador of Britain represents the British government, represented Her Majesty's government. So whatever agreement he enter into, it enter on behalf of the government of the United Kingdom, Her Majesty's government. Nobody enter into that agreement on his own volition. And now why that way he write them for day in the exchange of notes. Say it represent now Her Majesty's government. It transfer the sovereignty on to President Ahmadu Ahidjo. That is how the trusteeship agreement was terminated.
That's what my country people have told people. I'll play the video here. Wait. Very important. Let's start them back from the beginning. Muna here again.
First, by telling the truth, by facing facts. I recently read somewhere people talked about exchange of notes between the British High Commissioner, they call him Ambassador, and Ahidjo.
So the first thing we agree with Justice Ayah Paul Abine, now say we Anglophones then we need for start telling the truth. We need for face our history, the facts, and the lies where we don't talk about this history. And now why that way I be start by this series of presentations the way I don't do them since February 2024, where I talk about 11th of February Youth Day celebrations, the history, the facts, and the lies. So that one, it conclude part 1 of 2 of my response to Justice Ayah Paul Abine. Thank you plenty, my country people then.
Lesson number 1, my country people talk about it. Listen, whether or not you accept, my country people is a force to reckon with. Me, I agree. He's an enemy that is strong. So we got to be technical to what he do. So Ambazonians will thank my country people for the wonderful job. Now, we'll go ahead.